Gentlemen, this is Eddie Marcus, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. I have come before you and spoke to you on the subject matter of I am a fool, help me. And the message basically was that to believe that people told the truth, to believe that people cared about one another is the actions of a fool. Because when you get right down to it, the evidence will prove otherwise. And it doesn't mean a thing that one should be boastful about. It's just the way it is. And I see that as being a good thing because it opens the door for the opportunity for one who might have access to a little bit of truth for some to be able to stand up, advocate for, and walk in the footsteps of the truth of which they speak. And so, for me, I have to say that the thing that really motivates me is this. I consider myself as being a recipient of a presentation of God in such a way that it eliminates all doubt about God and man, about who has the power. And as such, you heard the expression, to whom much is given, much is required. Now, I see this thing about the troubles of our society in here in America and then the broader world. The Father, the Creator, the power that most of us don't really know anything about, wants you to know that that power truly does exist. And as one who has been given witness to, I want you to know that it truly is real. I also want you to know that the troubles of the world today, none of us have an excuse. The troubles of the world exist today while all of us are here today because we are partners with the troubles of the world today. We have heard it said that evil exists, and we use evil as being the boogeyman or the other one we can blame other than ourselves. Sometimes we call it the devil, the devil's agents, Satan, whatever we want to call it. But in truth, we have to ask ourselves, why does it exist? And if we were honest, we would try to look back as far as our minds would take us, which might not be too far. But if we study some of the history or some of the things that have been told, whether they were true or not, if we reflected on it, it might be able to give us some kind of positive conclusion. One which would suggest that if God is responsible for all creation, that the evil that exists in the world also is a result of the workings of God, workings which I'm sure we don't understand, but apparently has no problem with God. And I say that because it appears that in having choice, in being a human being, in having choice, a choice to do one way or another, a choice to stick your hand in the fire and get the consequences of it and never stick it back in there again, or sticking your tongue on a cold post and coming with the consequences, you never do that again. And it's the same thing with life. It appears that you shall reap what you sow. The seeds that you plant determine the fruit that you're going to get. And when we see all of these things happening in the world, it is happening as a result of what is supposed to happen when certain actions have been taken, when certain seeds have been planted. Now, to be more specific, we look at people who we call skinheads. And some of us might be familiar with that philosophy. I'm not. Or people who call themselves white nationalists. Many of you know what that means. I have some idea, but I don't claim to know what it means. Some of them call themselves Nazis. There's a philosophy there. Many people know what that means and many don't. We have other organizations, whether they're representative of other ethnic groups. They're all out there. But the question should be, why do they exist? And the answer to that is because they have been lied to. Every division rests on some perpetuation of certain lies. Those lies are the reasons for the division within the human race. And believing and accepting those lies, then that determines why you think, wherever you are, whatever position you're at, things exist the way they do. And having that thought, it makes you think that whatever is required to fix it basically is subjected to what you based as the reason for it starting, which is another lie, just a part of another lie. And so that wouldn't work. This is why when we say, let's satisfy the blacks now since they were slaves, and you say, now you can do these things, blacks, but when the blacks do these things, it doesn't really solve a problem. The problem is still there. Even it might have exacerbated the problem, if you know what I mean, basically, because now the whites are saying we're being discriminated against. This is just an example. But the whole reason for the message is that you must know that we can stop pointing the fingers. Everybody is responsible. It is the duty of an evil person to do things that are evil. It is even the duty of one who wants to control all human beings. It is their duty to do those kinds of things that would pull people over into their kingdom. At the same time, it is the duty and responsibility of all people to maintain their choice. And their choice represents who their God is. Now, most people not knowing God and not having the representation from those who have seen the burning bush, because as soon as they stand up, they are killed, which is the number one sign, the ultimate number one sign of the opposite of God. One thing that God does, it allows you to reap what you sow, to learn from that. The ultimate end, following down that rabbit hole or following down that trail to hell, is you get killed. Now, there's no worry about being killed because you're going to die anyway. My thing that I always say to people is take some control over death. Make your death have some value other than just dying from some crazy tail disease or some sickness, or by some nut just putting a bullet in your head for no other reason that he had nothing else to do. Well, I want to say, in summary, I've spent most of my time trying to address to the people how the plan for human beings to live on earth as if they were in heaven. The plan exists, but there is an enemy of the plan that does not want the people to live like that. And yet, it has the same right to exist as you who want to live like that. The situation here is, though, that you have to make a choice as to whether you're going to go according to the way you want to live, which requires a certain type of activity, or whether you're going to be swayed by another, which usually is predicated based upon fear, intimidation and fear, because they will come and try to go at you. Now, what protects you is your knowledge. Your knowledge protects you. See, if you exercise your knowledge, there is power that comes from places you don't even know of. And you can't ever lose because you're constantly transcending from hell to paradise. That's by not being afraid of. And what do you have to be afraid of when you exhibit life? Life begets life. And death sometimes just furthers the causes. So I want to say last, to have peace, prosperity, and joy, you have to treat people the way you want to be treated. Every system of government on the earth, including our own, is built on lies. Its foundation is lies. Even when their intent was to do good, it itself was surrounded and founded on other lies. And with lies, you cannot fix problems. The truth leads you down the path of how to get out of stuff. So what you must know as individuals is that in terrorism and all the stuff that's going on in the world, you can't kill that with bullets. You can put enough fear with stuff that can destroy the whole planet, maybe to settle people down. But if you want to get rid of the problems, the fear and all that other stuff, you got to respect people in this country and all over the globe, wherever people are. As I stated earlier, everything exists because of the lies, all of the division because of lies. And in every corner where these divisions exist, wherever human beings exist, they have individual dreams and collective dreams. But their number one dream is survival. And those things that are essential for human being survival are common amongst all human beings. They are, to name a few, food, clothing, shelter, education, health care. And the way to make sure that all of these needs can be met is by engaging all of the human beings, not in the military, but in the economic building foundation of the nation, by engaging their gifts, their chosen careers in this life that gives them the greatest thrill of life, in the process of creating these goods and services to the degree that no human being will be denied any of them. I don't care if you're a skinhead, whether you're a panther, I don't care whether you're black racist or whether you're white racist. All of these needs are common amongst us as human beings. And by the power of the Spirit that we cannot see, that has revealed itself to Moses in a burning bush and to others in other ways, stand before you today and say, if you want peace and prosperity and joy, you must make sure that every individual in this country is guaranteed this, not only guaranteeing it to your senators and to your congressmen and to your presidents, but to the little Joe down the street, the one that's pumping gas at the service station, or the one that's at the clerking at the supermarket. And not only that, we're going to lift up pumping gas at the station or clerking at the supermarket to the degree that their lives can be as uplifting and as exciting as anybody's life. Because this is their choice, this is what gives them the greatest reward, and nothing that human beings can do in this country to bring life to them will be denied to anyone. Well, this is what I want you to know that the spirit that you can't see, but is the spirit behind that burning bush, and the spirit behind the things that makes me know that it's real, to says to you, this is what you can have if you choose to have it. If you choose to have it, it will not be forced on you unless the fires that's burning everywhere, whether they are started by nature or whether they're started by somebody that does not like you, whether the floods and the storms and the hurricanes, whether they're started by nature or whether they're started by human beings who are trying to do things to control you, it doesn't matter where it's coming from, it's coming and it's having its effect. And all I'm saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, is that the world that you're living in is not ready to deal with these disasters. We the people have got to change. We got to recognize that other part, the ones that have said we can have more, their reward is living as trillionaires. Their reward is living as billionaires for doing what they do to the rest of the human race. Their reward is having constant wars and terrorism that comes and is perpetrated upon the people who had nothing to do with it except being silent, except being ignorant, except being afraid to do anything, afraid to even know what's going on, let alone trying to fix it. All I want you to know is that sometimes to be right, to be righteous means that you just have to knowingly walk up on a cross and lay your life down without picking up a breath and just giving it up. Sometimes to be righteous means to do just that. Because I tell you, on the other side, that enemy will come at you with everything. And it appears to me, well, at this level in the world that I'm living in, it seems to have a whole grip on everybody. And me too. So I guess I can say that. Well, having said that, I will leave it there. And I want to say thank you so very much for giving me this your time. Eddie Marcus say bye-bye.